Good evening, Mayor and council members. I appreciate all of you for your service. I also appreciate staff, James and Matt and everyone else here, Lucas, Gail. I don't know your name, right? Say your name, Mr. Rivera. Yeah. Anyway, my name is Tom Francis and I'm representing Simply Ojai. It's a local nonprofit organization. At present, we are laser focused on keeping those with less from being gentrified out of their homes. This development agreement is not good for Ojai, and especially not good for Ojai renters. All of the projects in the proposed development agreement have objectionable features. If this development agreement is approved tonight, Simply Ojai will file a referendum this week and seek a decision by a majority of Ojai voters to overturn the majority of this council that approved it. I offer you this information about our intentions as a courtesy to allow you the opportunity to avoid the mistake of voting yes on bundling these 4 developments into one approval, thereby requiring a referendum that will cost Ojai taxpayers over $30,000. Please avoid this unnecessary expense by listening to your community and not approving the Becker development mistake. One other point I want to make is that from a Democratic perspective, I just don't understand how you guys can sit with yourselves proposing something that denies future voters the opportunity to elect their representative and have that representative opine upon a development that is years out. So for example, if you guys approve this now, if there's a change in the council in the fall, that council will have no discretion over what happens with these projects, even projects that are 6 years and 8 years from now, rather than a more appropriate approach, which would be to leave the approval of these various projects to near the time when they're going to be built, so that the council at that time, that's elected by the voters at that time, can actually make a decision based on the circumstances at that time. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Sticks and council. I want to start by thanking you for your service to our community. I do appreciate all you guys working so hard. First, I'm going to speak on behalf of a local nonprofit organization called Simply Ojai. Simply Ojai requests that the council deny this proposed development agreement due to the fact that more than half of the proposed units are planned to be market rate and therefore are likely to only serve those that are wealthy. Due to state mandates, all accessory dwelling units that are being permitted and built in Ojai are market rate and being constructed at a rate that is on pace to meet our regional housing needs assessment requirements for market rate units. In addition, the city has allowed the opportunity for 20 tiny home pads to be constructed in our city, and per council majority direction are all also allowed to command market rate rents. Simply Ojai also incorporates by reference those written and verbal comments urging a no vote on the proposed development agreement before you today. So that completes my comments on behalf of Simply Ojai. Now I'm going to speak on behalf of myself, Tom Francis, as an individual. I just want to say I hereby incorporate into my comments those other written and verbal comments that oppose the proposed development agreement, including those from Simply Ojai. And then I also just have one more comment to make, and then I'll wrap it up. And that is that I think that sometimes with some members of the council, there's this assertion that there is division in our community, and I think you guys are confusing dissent with division. This is dissent. We don't agree with you, but we're not divided from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Good evening again, Mayor and council members. I just want to start by making the point that you guys inherited a bad decision. Last year, a council majority voted to approve a bad project that's not good for our community. And that's why a referendum to overturn that decision was filed. That's the bottom line. The perspective of the people that filed the referendum is that this proposed 4-project development agreement is not in the interest of our community, it's not in the interest of the environment, And it's definitely not in the interest of protecting that historic resource, which many people feel a lot of emotion around. And I do want to speak to you quickly, Councilwoman Francina. I know you've talked to us many times about the losses of other places in our town that also had similar cottages that are now gone. So to the project, it's a total of 67 units. 60 of those units are high rent. What do I mean by that? Okay, so 40 of the units are market rate. That means the sky's the limit, whatever they can charge. 20 of those units are for a family of 4, over $3,500 a month. Then you get 6 low-income units for a family of 4. Those are close to $2,500 a month. You get 1 very low-income unit, and that's close to $1,500 a month. Extremely low and acutely low-income families get nothing. What I think is most egregious about this whole thing is that this project has been billed as an affordable housing project. That's a joke. This is not affordable housing. Most people cannot afford to live in any of these units. I'd like to propose tonight that the council consider a housing truth ordinance. It just came to mind for me as I was sitting here listening to this tonight. Because when the public is told that this is an affordable housing project, they actually think that people that work in Ojai that earn regular,
Thank you, Tom.
regular working wages could actually afford to live here, and that's not the case. This project
Thank you,
moves
Tom.
out poor people
Thanks,
and
Tom.
makes way for wealth.
Okay, thank you. Next we have Bill.